So these are a couple of excerpts, one piece from Bodh Gaya in India and another piece from Delhi. I'm feeling expansive after the morning celebrations. Emailing distant friends further relaxes me. As a result, I walk into a trap of sorts. Outside the cyber cafe, two teenage boys chat me up, and I go with the flow. The shorter one asks, "Are you American?" I nod yes. "Do you like joke book?" I say, "Sure, I like joke books. What's the joke?" "No, joke book! Joke book!" I finally figure out he's saying, "George Bush. Do you like George Bush?" "George Bush is a joke book," I say and laugh. He looks at me like I'm an idiot. Of course joke book is a joke book, he must be thinking. They wish to take me to their teacher, and I'm totally open to exploration, though I know it will come with a pitch. I lose my bearings down many alleyways and am in their palms. Their teacher, who looks to be in his mid-20s, welcomes me and sits me down in his school, a room in his house with a bed-sized wooden bench. It's possible he sleeps here too. The teacher seems to operate an after-school tutoring program, and soon half a dozen adorable young children arrive with school books. He corrects their math lessons, rather cursorily I think, and asks me to correct one boy's homework. One student is not listening, and the teacher hits his hand with a small stick. I'm increasingly wary of this gig. It seems ramshackle and fly-by-night, disorganized and not quite legit. Surely there are more reputable schools around. He's unctuous towards me and vague about what he actually does. He's very precise about money, though. He opens an accounts book which has a line for each student and the tuition they've paid for each month. He implores me to give him money to buy a computer or a cell phone. Finally, he shows me a letter and a gift from a patron in Japan. "Can you help me?" he pleads. I know I'm not getting out of this scot-free, so I give him $40. He asks for more, but I refuse kindly. The boys lead me back to the main street. Before they leave me, they ask me to buy them milk powder, and I oblige. On the way back to my hotel, I'm disturbed by the sight of a small horse standing fearfully in the middle of the street. His front legs have been tied together so he can't move. He trembles as the cars pass him on each side. I make my way to the street and try to encourage him to move to the side. A man shouts at me, "Be careful, he will kick you." I consider untying it, but that would probably cause more problems. A man watching from the side of the road tells me to step away, and he throws stones hard at the horse, making it hobble off the road. He's still standing there hours later when I return after dinner. I end the evening as I've ended the last two, taking pictures of the Mahabodhi temple at night. It's hard to catch the full moon, its shadows, visage, and jumping rabbit, but I etch it there in my mind, brilliant against the spire of enlightenment. Bihari boys are on the prowl, and they turn Bodh Gaya into Bug Gaya. They don't have Game Boy, so I'm their Game Boy. Tourists are the main game in town, easy marks for the prowlers who hatch plots to get a little dough, out of boredom as much as need. "Hello, mister, where are you from?" And a little later, again, "Hello, mister, where are you from?" Some seem inspired by the hippie vibe. One asks me if I believe in karma, and I say, of course, cause leads to effect, and wonder if he's asking me out of curiosity or to prod me into a karma-enhancing donation to his teacher, who probably gives him a kickback. "Can I have a biscuit? 5 rupees? Hey, mister, can I hold your American dollars?" A bandanaed and unbounded young man on a motorcycle, straight out of a Bollywood poster, entreats me to climb on board for a spin. "Hello, friend, where are you from? Let me give you a ride." He is insulted by my caution, saying, "You just need the right guru, man. Know your mind, and you'll know who's good and bad." I say he may be good, but I just don't get on motorbikes with strangers. He wants to spin me on a spin, take power for a day, perhaps make me his slave for a moment. I don't want to be spun, guru or no. Bugged by Bodh Gaya, I walk into a police station and ask whether schools like the one I visited are legitimate. The police chief answers, "There are teachers and there are cheaters, sir. You must always be alert. It's better to give to the needy directly." I give to some directly, but mostly stuff the donation boxes of Buddhist organizations and monasteries. In need of peace and loving kindness, I make my way to the Karmapas monastery and make a donation. I know my mind and know whom to trust. A monk who befriended me earlier in the day has invited me for tea. He is a gracious host who takes in all my frustrations silently and with a smile. "Do you meditate?" he asks, noticing my fiery mind. He invites me for a morning meditation before I leave Bodh Gaya tomorrow. Buddhists don't do such things, he says, speaking of the prowling, boundaryless Bihari boys. He implies that Hindus are more pushy, and I'm taken aback. I think the bottom line is testosterone more than religion here. Boredom, poverty, desperation, and masculine aggression, coupled with a lack of education and opportunity. The Bihari boys need jobs, they need schools, and a sense of being a part of the bigger picture, rather than being individuals scrapping for rupees tossed by well-to-do, hapless hippies. They need a truer route to feeling in control than taking control of tourists. Still, he says, Buddhists don't do such things. Later, I sit under a tree near the Mahabodhi temple. Yet another friendly group from Nagpur strikes up a conversation and offers me lemonade. We talk about Buddhism, and I say I like the emphasis on peace. I ask a woman what she thinks of the Iraq War. She says, in halting English, that she agrees with it, and besides, they are not Buddhist. I'm shocked, and just then the Muslim call to prayers sounds up. It's a deft message from the universe. No, they're not Buddhists, but they are our neighbors. I take my leave, recognize that being Buddhist alone doesn't guarantee a peaceful or peace-creating outlook. And I'm certainly not at peace yet either. A little later. From Varanasi, I fly to Delhi, where the spiritual merges with the political once again. I spend most of my last day in India paying homage to her father and founding hero, Mohandas Gandhi. I visit the Rajghat Gandhi Memorial, where an eternal flame burns and flowers are ever visible on the black marble, as I hope his example will be eternally visible for all mankind. From there, I return to Birla House, his last residence. I pore over an exhibit which details Gandhi's days in South Africa, deepening my appreciation for his monumental life. On June 7, 1893, he was forcefully thrown from a whites-only train compartment in Pietermaritzburg. The blatant racism humiliated, shocked, and angered him. His grandson said at the centennial anniversary of that event that Mohandas Gandhi was not flung here, he was launched. He could have left for greener pastures or acceded to prejudice, but he became committed to a cause greater than himself. He engaged in legal and political struggle on behalf of Indians in South Africa for 13 years, then reached a further turning point. The South African government, similar to Arizona actually, had just passed a restrictive law forcing Indian men, women, and children over the age of 8 to register with the authorities, submit to fingerprinting, and accept a certificate which they were to carry with them at all times. Those who refused could be imprisoned, fined, or deported. How should he and his compatriots behave in the face of these consequences, not to mention abuse, violence, and even death? Gandhi awakened to the principles of truth and nonviolence, satya and ahimsa. He also took a personal vow of celibacy, saying he could not follow both spirit and flesh. While remaining committed to the struggle for social justice, he transcended politics with his commitment to spiritual means of transformation. He was convinced that true justice could only emerge from peaceful, moral, active struggle by individuals unwavering in their dedication to the laws of satya and ahimsa. The lawyer became the Mahatma. Satyagraha, truth or soul force, was born. The date, September 11th, 1906. The date reverberates in my mind, 9/11, then and now. Each 9/11 a repudiation of the other, a century-long point-counterpoint on human nature, cataclysm and redemption vibrating from the same date, the date whose numbers themselves are a cry for help. From 1906, a century issued forth with millions dead, violence unleashed in horrors never before seen, and alongside it, born from it, the halting steps of peace. Like a cherry seed grows into a tree, all our natures exposed in bloody leaves and fragrant bloom. And here too, our own century, marked first by violent strike and then by violent response, and violence is unended. Will we go on unending thus, promises and vows to peace like lonely beacons on the eternal plains of war? Or will we, like Ashoka, stand and view our carnage, then end it? Will we change from Angulimala to Ahimsaka? What answers our 911? The Sufi saint calls to me, and once again I visit his tomb. I fold cranes for the gathered children, make vows of my own. I sleep inspired and hopeful, my last night in the land of my birth. I dream of wolves laying down with cows. In my dream, only the wolves are fearful. They seem small and frail against the resting cows, who breathe deeply in the sun and endless green pasture. I pet them till their trembling stops. Thank you.